Previously on Evolution on the Mic.
And we are back, y'all. Season 7, Faith in Yourself. Episode 7, You've Got This Because God's Got You. In today's episode, though, we're going to be talking about what it truly means to trust in God's grip, even in the moments when your own strength feels like it's running out. For anyone feeling overwhelmed, uncertain, or maybe even like you need to be in control of everything in this season that you're in, this episode is for you. You know, there's times and moments recently where I have kind of been struggling with understanding God's grip in my life. He has a grip and I don't have to be in full control of it, that I can trust that grip that he has. Like, God is in front of me. He's been ordaining my steps. He has been calling me to do the things that I've been doing. He has been allowing all the experiences to happen in my life, the good, the bad, the ugly, right? The things that have caused me pain, the things that have caused me happiness. It's all really working in part of a bigger plan. God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. Maybe you're not feeling like you're qualified. God is asking me to do X, Y, and Z, but God, I don't think I got it. I don't think I'm, smart enough for that. I don't think I have the skills for that. I've tried a few times and I utterly failed at it. And I'm here to tell you that, he qualifies the called. If he called you to do X thing, he is going to equip you with what you need to get through it. No, Antoine, you're so right. Sometimes, we don't see the full picture, but God is like, we don't need you to see the full picture. I just need you to take one step at a time and see things in its small frame, right? In its one frame. We don't have to do the whole picture, but just one piece of it. That's all we need so that we can keep going to the next thing. Because think about it. Imagine if, let's say you were going to be a multi-billionaire. And you were going to, have 10 businesses and you were going to lead, an organization of 1,000 employees. Imagine if God told you that whole picture today. You're gonna freak out. It's too much. It's like, oh my God, like I'm going to have all that. I could barely do it with one employee. Imagine 1,000. You know what I mean? Like, what am I going to do with a multi-billion-dollar company? Like, sometimes if God were to give us everything, all the whole picture, we will get overwhelmed. We'll feel like this is too much. It's never going to happen. Not me. And you know what I mean? We're going to really want to take control of it because it's like, God, you told me I'm going to have all this and all this. So, I'm going to start looking at the puzzle and the pieces and I'm going to, I think I need to do that now. I think I need to do that now because there's so much I need to do. You might start picking up pieces because it's like, God, I'm going to help you. This is what I need to do. So I'm going to start, putting my hands in it with you. It's going to be more difficult for us to lean on him and to let him have all the control because it's like, you know what I mean? That is, it's a big plan. It's every, you know what I mean? If he were to give you every little single little detail, you know what I mean? But God sees the whole picture and it stays there. We don't have it for a good reason. There's a reason why we only see one frame at a time, one piece at a time. And he only gives us that one thing so that we can work on that and then get to the next step. Okay, get to the next step and not, okay, well, these are all the steps and I'm going to do them all right away. We're going to crash and burn because we're going to be running towards the whole picture. And you know what I mean? It's really tough to see that come to pass if we're just running after the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So you're totally right, when you say that. And it brings me to, this concept of when I am in discomfort, when I am in like a phase in my life where I feel like uncomfortable, where it's like, God, you're stretching me. Like, for example, getting my master's degree in the first semester, the first and second semester were like the toughest for me. I was very uncomfortable. It kind of felt like I was in a danger zone. It kind of felt like, if I'm being honest, like I heard God all wrong to get my master's degree in leadership because it felt like a danger place for me. I felt like I got into a dark place within myself because all my past traumas and all my self-beliefs of myself that, I'm not smart enough, that I'm not capable, that, I'm not a good writer, I'm not a good speaker, like, how can I do this? Or I'm too lazy. All those things I had to like see myself and deal with. And it was a lot. You know what I mean? It was tormenting. But that discomfort didn't equal danger. What it was development. I was growing, right? Because I was seeing my past and who I was and what God has asked me to do. And I'm doing it, but I'm being triggered back there. But it was all for God to show me, but you can. I'm with you. You got me. We're in this together. You don't have to feel like this is for harm, because this is for your good, because I am going to navigate each step of the way and bring you the resources that you need so that you can feel confident in your learning abilities, that you can feel confident in your writing abilities, that you can feel confident in your speaking abilities. Because when you're getting your master's degree, almost at the end of almost every class, you have to do a presentation. And I used to be so scared at those presentations, creating PowerPoints and talking in front of the class. I mean, like, it was a big anxiety every time I had to do it, but I got better and better. So all that danger that I felt initially, they weren't there to harm me. They weren't there to really shrink me. They weren't there to really make me feel like I had to give up or this is too much for me. They were there to show me that I'm being developed. God is developing me. I'm learning a new skill, and it's going to take time. And I just have to lean into God. I don't have to have all the control. I don't have to feel like I have to learn it all and have it all together today, you know? And that's with anything, that's just my example with my master's degree, because that's kind of like what keeps coming up is that journey. But, I'm sure that there's people watching right now that are in their own season of discomfort that they don't feel like they're capable of doing because of their past or whatever their past brings to them. And they feel like, I'm starting to do it, but it's too much for me because I'm feeling icky. I'm feeling very uncomfortable. I'm feeling like it's bringing back all the dark places in my life. And now I'm starting to feel dark and I just want to be happy. I don't want to feel like this. This is a danger zone. I want to get out. This is your sign that there's nothing wrong happening. There is no danger happening. God is just showing you a reflection of your past to show you that there's growth coming, that you are growing, that you are developing. Because the only way to know where we're going is to know where we came from. And when we know where we came from and we know the things that had held us back and we can face it, yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. Yes, it's going to feel like, hell on earth, because it's like, this is too painful. This is too dark. It's taking me to a dark place because of where you were in your past. It's showing you where the areas that God is now starting to grow you and that he's going to help you, because now you're not relying on yourself. Now you're relying on him, on God, to help you through all those things, and that's not you anymore. That's not going to be the trajectory of your life. Those things that held you down and that held you back. No, but it's okay if they're coming up again while you in your new journey, because it's just a development phase. It's just a place where God is like, I'm doing something new in you, but there's things that have held you back. There's certain mindsets, there's certain belief systems, there's certain times where you take control. And God is like, I'm showing you these things, not to harm you, not to make you down so that you can stop, but so that you can realize what you can do differently. And what we can do differently is surrender it all. You know what I mean? All those dark places in us and everything that we're feeling, give it to God and ask God for help. Ask God for guidance. Ask God for clarity. Ask God to help us get through this. What is it that we need to do next? What is it that I'm not doing? What is it that I need? What resource do I need? Do I need to talk to someone? Do I need to learn a new skill? Do I need to pray harder? Like, what is it that I need to do? Right? So those things comes up for a reason, and is there, just to remind you of the things that, you might need to be doing so that those things can just fade away. Because had I not gone through my journey and went to, get a tutor and get people to help me, to give me the confidence, to help me believe that I can. I will call my best friend, my ex at the time, like, and they were there for me to encourage me, to remind me, girl, you got this, don't worry, you know what I mean? You're gonna do great, just keep going, just keep going. So it's also leaning on the strengths of others. But when we just want to lean on our own strength and our own control, we're just going to be dried out. We're going to just feel sad, burnt out, overwhelmed, and we're going to want to quit. But that's not what God wants for you. You know what I mean? God is just developing you, and He, wants things to get better for you. And there's just a way that He navigates that. But all in all, is relinquishing that control, knowing that He got it, even when we don't feel like He does. He does. You know, there's a scripture, Romans 8:28, that says, all things work together for the good of those who love Him. So if you know that you love God, even in your setbacks, even in your delays, even in your uncertainty, even in your frustration, right? If you love Him with all your heart, like, everything is going to work together for your good.
Mm, that's so
Period.
good. That's so good. And it's as you were saying that, I even started to feel a sense of peace about me as I was thinking about the situation I had to talked about with Toastmasters. It's like, yeah, we don't have to see that big picture. We just have to trust God and trust the path that He's taking us down is for our development. And
Mm-hmm.
each of those moments that are coming up that are difficult moments that are going to stretch us and push us in certain uncomfortable ways, those are all opportunities that God's investing in us to grow, to get to the next level that He needs to take us to become the person that He wants us to become.
Mm-hmm.
And as we're looking for that certainty in those situations, God's almost saying, like, don't worry so much about the certainty right now. Just trust. And I love what you said earlier, Ari, about when you think about God's got you, you almost feel this weight come off your shoulders. You feel this like that big deep breath, like you just let it all out. Like, God's got me. Everything's okay. And to me, I feel like that's where that peace comes from, like that's where we start to feel some of the peace. There is this sense sometimes that we feel like everything has to be perfect. And you kind of alluded to this earlier, Ari. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if God shows us this big picture, right? All we start thinking about are all the things that you have to do. And if you are like a type A person, man, even worse. Like, you're thinking about everything down to the little details of everything to try to make sure it's perfect. And it's in those moments of trying to achieve perfection that we create more angst, we create more anxiety, we create more almost frustration in this process that is really supposed to be a process for us to grow, because all we're thinking about are all the things we need to do as opposed to developing to become the person that God's calling us. I feel like in those moments it's not about what we need to do. In those moments it's about who do we need to become. And all of those opportunities, those events, those things we're going through are all God's way of setting things up for us to become that person, to understand, as you said earlier, the skills that we need to get to the next level, to understand our blind spots and the things that we need to improve to be able to get to that next level. And so it's important. Your circumstances don't need to be perfect. They really don't. Your peace that you have is because you're trusting in God to be your pilot. You're trusting in God to have your back. You're trusting in God to have you, no matter what you're going through, no matter the circumstance. And even in the moments where you feel like you're alone and you feel like no one's there, and you feel like, man, I don't even hear God right now. He's there. He's there. He's always there. He's never left. He's always going to be by your side. And it's in those moments where we think he's gone, but we still trust that we find peace. And that to me is probably one of the biggest things that I've learned through my experiences is even in those moments where I feel like I'm alone or God's taking me down something that I don't quite understand, just relinquishing it to him, trusting he's got me on the right path and allowing him to do his thing and just know that he's got me, that peace that I feel is worth its weight in gold. And I can't I can't put into words what I feel in those
Yeah.
moments and what they've meant to me for the long haul in terms of my growth and development as a person.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like peace does come from trust. You know what I mean? But let's be honest, a lot of us, feel like we want circumstances to be perfect so that we can have that peace, right? So that we can feel like, okay, God, I know you got it. But the moment that things don't look the way we want them to look, the moment circumstances look like, God, are you here? Like, what's going on? Like, this doesn't look like how it should look. And for me, it's like I mentioned in the beginning, in our last episode, was more about like, Mentors Way and me really wanting to see Mentors Way come to fruition, right? I want to have my nonprofit. I want to have this building because I want to have a physical building for my education system that Mentors Way will be. And I wanted to be an online source as well for those who tune in virtually. And I'm like, where is it? Like, where is this building, God, that you put in my mind when I was 18 years old, that I seen the doors open, that I seen people coming in and out of all ages? What's going on? you know? And it's like my peace can sometimes get distorted because the circumstances of Mentors Way and the things that I want to see happen and that I feel by now should have been isn't there. But it's like, okay, Ari, I gotta remind myself, let's take it back. My peace shouldn't come from because I have certainty, because I see things with my human eyes, right? That's not where my peace should be. My peace should just come from the fact that God already has ordered the steps and that God is in front of me and that I am following him because he is my leader and that I can trust him to make it happen in his timing, that it will happen in his timing. And that is where my certainty comes from. That is where my peace comes from. And that is where my trust comes from. But as humans, we tend to, waver on that a bit because it's like, it's been too long, at least for me, it's been, too long. God, like, I feel like I've been doing a lot of the things that you called me to do, and I've been, consistent and I've been, dedicated and staying on course and trying my best to not fall into the negative things of the world that is easy to fall into. You know what I mean? I'm always reeling myself back, but if I find myself going left, then what, just wait here, yeah, like, what am I not doing? What am I not doing? And then, you know what I mean, I want to take control and I want to take things in my own hands, and maybe I should start doing this, and maybe I should start just writing my book, and just me navigating that, and my ego coming in of what it thinks I should be doing, because I'm like, God, like, are you taking a nap on me or what? And it's like, God is like, it's my timing. And this is not your time. You're still in preparation time. You're still in development time. I am still growing you. But you are doing the right things. You are, doing well with the podcast. And, you and Antoine are giving it your 100% each and every week. You are following my lead. We're doing the right things in a lot of areas, but just because we're doing the right things doesn't mean that the thing that we want to happen is going to happen today, right now. It's going to be when God says. It's going to be when God has cultivated the perfect environment and place for me to step in, to arrive, and to be and to do. And right now, but I mean, I'm still the student, I guess, and I have to be okay with that. I'm have to be okay that, God is still tutoring me.
Right.
God is still, teaching me, and I'm still growing, and you know what I mean? And that has to be a part of the process where we all find ourselves okay with that. God is still mentoring us, he's still tutoring us, and we're still in kind of that growing phase and that development stage and in that preparation phase, you know what I mean, for that right timing to come when only he can call it into existence, that we couldn't even conjure up ourselves even if we tried, because everything is just in full alignment for you to step in and everything will work out like beautifully, right? And I know that would happen for me, and I know that would happen for you if you're finding yourself in a season where you've been praying, asking, doing, feeling like you're doing the right things, feeling like you're being consistent, and you're like, when is my time going to happen? When it happens, because you've waited and you were patient, it's going to be such a beautiful time. It's such a beautiful process, such perfection, right? Things are just going to be such in a flow, and you're going to be in amazement. You're going to, just be so grateful that you waited on his time, because everything is just going to flow and just feel so good in your being. And I know that that's how it's going to be. If I were to decide to rush through it and just want it right now and do all these things that my ego is telling me to do, I might mess it up. You know what I mean? Like, God has his perfect ingredients. I don't need to start throwing my own things in then. And it's not what it was supposed to be. You know what I mean? I started by making a cake and I have all the ingredients, the eggs, the flour, the vanilla extract, the milk. And then I start adding, hot sauce. Why am I adding hot sauce? Because I'm spicy. No, take the hot sauce out, baby. That doesn't belong in a cake. So it's like God is trying to create something, but I'm here trying to give him my 2 cents and do things. And now I'm destroying what it was supposed to be, or like, it's not going to be exactly what it should be. So we got to keep our hands out of it. We have to trust his timing. We got to trust his process and not get anxious. You know what I mean? Like, not be anxious about anything that we're doing, because you know what I mean? If God has came before us, if God is before us, if God is for us, nothing can be against us. And if God has ordained us, then he is going to figure it out for us. If any one of you is feeling overwhelmed, I just want you guys to pause and pray, God, remind me that you've already gone before me. And God will remind you that he's gone before you. Like, you might close your eyes and start feeling the presence of God, like right in front of you. Like, I'm here. I've never left. I've never gone nowhere. I've always been here and I will always be here. I got you. You know what I mean? I got you. You've got this because I'm here. You're going to do everything that I'm calling you to do because I'm here, because you got me, and there's nothing that I cannot do for you. I want the things that you want for you more than you want for you. So trust me that it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to be. There's just no way that it's not. That's what God is telling you. You know what I mean? Because when we know that and we feel that God is there, we feel unstoppable. We feel like we got magic powers. We feel like there's nothing that I can do. There's nothing that I can be. Like, I got my wings on and I'm flying. You know what I mean? Like, I became Batman. What's the guy that flies?
I don't think it's Batman. Superman.
There we go.
Yeah.
I became Superman, Wonder Woman. Like, I got my cape on. When we know that God is in front of us, that God has already ordained the steps, and that, you know what I mean? We're just holding on to him, holding on to his hand, and like, okay, God, what we doing next? What we doing next? And even in those times that you're like, God, I don't get it. I don't see what you're doing. I have anxiety. I don't have peace. I'm not certain of what we're doing. Even in those moments, it's okay. Tell God, like, God, I'm feeling scared. I'm feeling uncertain. I feel like I can't trust right now. Hold on to his hand tighter. That shouldn't be a reason why you let go of his hand. That should be where you just lock in even harder, when you just purely lock in with God and like talk to him. You know what I mean? I do this all the time, specifically like when I'm feeling like this. It's like I want to let go of my hand because, like, God, this is too much anxiety, too much frustration. I'm being woken up in the middle of the night with major anxiety attacks because I'm scared. I don't get it. Like, what's going on? Am I doing something wrong? And in those moments, I remind myself, like, God, like, this is where I'm at. Be honest with him. This is where I'm at. I'm having little trust issues right now. I don't get it. I want to take my hand out. But in those moments that I'm having those authentic, real conversations with God, because, he wants us to do that. He wants us to come to him with all our concerns. He don't want us to ask him why, but what? You know what I mean? What is it that you want me to do? What is it that you know what I mean, I'm not doing or I should be doing? What is it? What is your plan? Like, what's going on? And not, you know what I mean, maybe try to stay away more from the why, but we can, you know what I mean, ask him questions still and let him know that we're frustrated and let him know that we're scared, but we're still holding his hand in that process. That doesn't mean because I feel that I'm going to let him go. That should be when we lock in more, and that's going to grow our relationship more with God, and that's going to give us more of that safety feeling and that feeling that we can, have peace in our situation and that we can trust him, because we have that understanding that, you know what I mean? Like, he called us to it. He's going to bring us through it. He called us to do these things. He's going to get us through it. He got us here. He, has allowed all these things to happen for a reason. So he didn't bring you this far to let you go. He didn't bring you this far to abandon you. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like it, But that's when you have to lock in more with him and have that conversation with him. And he will bring you back to realization that everything is okay, that everything is in perfect alignment, that everything is exactly where it needs to be, that there's no harm happening. Nothing is happening for, to destroy you, but everything is happening to grow you, to develop you, to bring you in more closer alignment to the path and the calling that God has over your life.
Mm, so true. And so much of what you were saying centered around the fact that you're not alone. I think that's kind of the big underscoring factor of everything you just said, right? In that moment, all that goodness, you were just saying, you're not alone. God's with you. He's right there with you. There's times where he's carried you. Like, you don't have to worry about facing an eviction, facing a car being repoed, facing your lights being turned off, facing whatever it may be that's really got you stressed out right now. You are not alone going through that. God is with you. If you're praying and you're talking to him, even if you don't feel like you're hearing his voice, even if you don't feel like he's there, in those moments, just praying and talk to him and having an open heart as you're listening to the things that he may say, and listen intently. Because sometimes, and Ariana used to say this a lot, sometimes when God talks to us, it's a whisper. He may not scream at you, he may not yell, but it just may be a soft whisper. He just wants you to find a quiet place. And it's in those moments that he will reveal to you what you need to do. And I've had those. Like, I can speak from experiences where I've had those happen to me in real life, true life. Like, sitting here, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, back against the wall. God, what do I need to do? Not hearing anything, not hearing anything. And then going to a quiet place and spending that time with him, just praying and meditating and being quiet and shutting off all distractions. And then that soft whisper from God. Have you reached out to this person? Have you tried this? What about doing this? And it's taking that action. And those are the moments to me where, after you've had those enough times, all of this becomes a lot easier, right? Like, after you've had enough times of going through some tough experiences and feeling like you're alone, but then reminding yourself that you're not alone, God's there and that God's got you. And after you came through those experiences and you get on the other side, this becomes like light work. It's not so much of a fear anymore. Yes, situations get bigger, and I'm sure Ariana can even talk about things you've been through from where you started at the beginning to the types of situations you're in now. I know I can express that in my own self, but each of those situations, they get tougher over time because God is continuing to stretch you and mold you. He's continuing to move you along that continuum that he has for you in life. But don't forget the past. Don't forget the things you've been through that he's gotten you through, and give him praise for those things in the past as well as the things in the future that are going to come, that are going to continue to show that trusting in him, leaning in him has and will yield the outcomes for you that you desire and that God desires for you, that God desires to take you to that next level. There's so much that he does for us by walking with us and being with us that I know sometimes I just may take for granted. Like, I was at an event, and someone was praying and giving a blessing over everyone that was in the room, and they said something that I'll never forget, and it stuck with me forever. And they said, you know, you were on God's wake up list this morning. God placed you on his wake up list. And it stuck with me because I was like, you know what? I didn't have to wake up this morning. Like, God purposely chose me to wake up this morning. You may say, oh, Antoine, why is that important? It's because that's the type of God we serve. Like, everything about you matters to him. He's not going to leave you. He's with you there. He cares that you wake up this morning to see your kids off to school. He cares that you wake up this morning to be able to go and do amazing work that gives and teaches people skills and takes people to the next level in their own life. He cares about those moments, and he cares in seeing you succeed in those moments and grow in those moments. And so he's not going to leave you.
You're right. And I love how, you were saying like that we're not alone. But when we do feel like we're alone is in those moments where we are taking control over the circumstances. because it's all on us, right? We're leaning on ourselves. We're doing the things in the way that we think that we should be doing it, and that's lonely. You know what I mean? That's like, it's all me. It's all on me. That's a lonely place to be, because it's not all on you. God is carrying us. But when we think of things in a way of, I'm not in control of it, I am going to surrender it. I'm going to surrender the control. I'm going to surrender the timing surrounding around the things that I think that they should happen. I'm going to surrender the frustrations, the anger, the sadness, the, what I mean, playing victim because, oh, woe me, I thought by now all these things should be happening, or, I thought that I was capable of doing this, but I tried. Like, surrender all of that. You know what I mean? And it's not a weakness to surrender. It's a strategy, because once you surrender all of that to God, then you can realize that you're not alone, because God is with you. You're not alone because, God, you got me, because I don't have it. I know I don't have it. I don't have it. I just realized that now, that I really don't. And I am not willing to stand with you in this and surrender the control, right? Surrender all the maybe the negative voices in your mind, and just, God, I'm giving it all to you, right? Like Psalms 55:22 verse says, cast your cares on the Lord and he will sustain you. Cast it on him. Like, let him know what's going on with you. Like, let him know what you need. Let him know, you know what I mean, what you need, what you don't need, like what's going on, everything that's happening. And he will sustain you, and he will guide you, and he will lift you up, right? And he would put different perspectives in your being so that you can feel okay in the moment. But you have to cast it on him and surrender it to him, and then you won't feel alone, because then you'll remind yourself of who got you. Like the little exercise I did a little while ago. If you close your eyes and you truly tell yourself, like, I know that God is here, like God is in front of me, like God is with me, and you start envisioning, like, this like energy, like being right in front of you, and it's like you just feel that energy, and you're like, I'm not alone, because God is energy, and if we tune in, we can feel that magnetic feeling of that aura, of that presence of the Holy Spirit, like with us. And then we're reminded, I've never been alone. I've just, thought I was, because I try to take all the control to myself in my own hands and try to figure it out on my own. But there's nothing that I need to figure out. There's nothing that you need to figure out. God has it all figured out for you. I want you guys to speak these affirmations to yourself right now. I've got this because God's got me. I walk with confidence, not because I have all the answers, but because I trust the one who does. Again, I've got this because God's got me. I walk with confidence, not because I have all the answers, but because I trust the one who does. You trust God because he has all the answers. You know that he's got you. And if you know he's got you, you're going to walk differently. You're going to have your shoulders up. You're going to walk with confidence. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have all the answers, but God, I know you got it. I know you got it. I don't have to know. I don't have to have all the pieces. I don't have to have, the whole frame. I don't have to have the whole picture figured out. I don't have to care about a time frame of when it's going to happen. If what you have for me, if you're calling on my life is not going to happen until I'm 50, 60, 70 years old, I'm okay with that. Because this is your glory, right? This is God's. You're doing everything for his glory. So why put a time on it? Because you want it to happen, because you want your family and friends to be like, ooh, look what she's doing, look what she's done. You're not doing, you got to remind yourself of that. Girl, you're not doing it for them. Remind yourself. You're not doing it for nobody. You're doing it for God. So if it's his glory, and if it's, his calling on your life to glorify him and who he is, then it doesn't matter the time frame of when it happens. Because when it does happen, it's going to be so perfect that we're going to be like, thank you, Lord, for that timing. Because look at everything that I've learned before then. Look at all the growth I've had. Look how strong I am now in my relationship with you. Look who I've become, right? And now I am ready to showcase that to the world in a way that is going to bring amazing, powerful change to those that you have called me to impact. And that is a mindset and a perspective that is powerful and a major relief for all of us. Because it's like, we all want it to happen at a certain time. We all have a deadline. And it's like, we need to just dead that deadline. And we need to give it to him and understand the timing that he has is going to be so perfectly and so magnificent that, you know what I mean? Who cares of when we wanted it? Because we're probably just going to mess it up if we got it whenever we thought we should have had it. So it's like, it's a relief. His timing, it's for him. Why am I rushing it? It's not for to stroke my ego. It's not to show everybody and around me, oh, look what I've been doing. Look what's going on. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It doesn't matter how old I am. You know what I mean? I'm just getting better in time. You're just getting better with time. So when it happens, when it does come to fruition, when it does come about in your, you know, your physical life, everything that God has called you to be, you're gonna really be thankful that it happened then and not now. Because now you might not be ready. Now you're still in preparation. Now you haven't been fully developed. And that's perfectly fine. You know, everybody has their own timing for everything that they're gonna be. It's like everybody has a different timing for when things are gonna happen for them. You know, so if you see somebody, oh, look, they're a great speaker. You know, oh, that person got promoted. Oh, that person, you know, got that car. And you're looking at their timing. Well, they just started, you know, working on that a year ago, and look at them now. That's their timing. Stop looking over there. Bow out. Like, stop looking over there. Look at your path, your lane. That's it. You know, and know that, again, God's got me. God is in front of me, and everything is happening in its perfectly divine timing for me. If you're in a tough season, this is your divine reminder that God didn't bring you this far to abandon you. He's still holding on, even when life feels like it's slipping through your fingers. Just know that you got this, not because you're perfect, but because God is present. You don't have to control everything. Please stop it. You just have to stay connected to the one who does. I want you to take a deep breath, release the pressure, and rest in the truth that God's got you. So keep going. If this episode gave you the lift that you needed today, I want you to share it with someone who needs that same reminder. As usual, if you have any thoughts, comments, or anything that you would like to share with us, we'd love to hear from you. So drop a comment below. And with that, thank you for tuning in. And until our next episode, always remember that having faith in God, having faith in yourself, having faith in others will create the evolution that you are seeking.
Let's go.